My biggest win with the journey has been that inner peace and just that fundamental knowing that I've got full purpose and a great deal more happiness.
That was amazing for me and actually for my whole family. Allowed us to keep this open mind on life and to open to all the opportunities.
I have so much more freedom and self-connection and health and vibrancy. I just feel more alive.
The journey helped me to understand what my emotions are, not to be scared of them.
It changed my life. It cleared all blocks and brought into my consciousness what my heart's desire was.
Now I feel my life is easier. I feel stronger, feel what I feel and find a new solution.
To be free from the burden on my shoulders. I live in the moment now and I'm open to my emotions from the highest to the lowest.
Until the journey, I didn't really know that I could get to the same depth without using any substance. It's getting easier and easier to connect to the deepest part of myself.
Probably the biggest improvement is my inner life or my inner freedom to be as myself, in myself, not being a victim of circumstances and the other people.
The journey has really been a second chance in life for me. Having permission to dive deep and find out who the real authentic me was and just to be that person has just been wonderful.
When you listen to yourself and when you really touch your soul, something magical happens.
Life is different because of the journey. I feel I have all the tools I need to face whatever life throws at me. Life has become fun.
My biggest win was healing a broken heart, and not once, many times. I would never have been able to be in the position that I am in now had it not been for the journey.
Befriending myself in really accepting who I am, that I am perfectly imperfect and I don't need fixing.
I've gained so much. So there is no one big win. If it had to be named as one thing, I would just say it's life-changing.
It's changed my world, it's changed my life, it's changed me. And it's allowed me to be open and vulnerable and completely transparent.
My biggest win as a result of using the journey would definitely be my ability to network and expand upon the goals that I've had for such a long period of time.
My biggest win since attending the Journey Intensive has been finding myself. It has been healing, transforming.
I am just so much more receptive and open to whatever God has planned for me. At the very core of me, being able to experience that peace has been priceless.
A wonderful, wonderful, wonderful good evening and welcome to our discovery session with Brandon today. My name is Gabby Burt. I've been with Brandon and the Journey for over 27 years now. I'm International Managing Director, and it is such a delight to see all the names rolling in, all the countries rolling in, and I'm delighted to see guests here tonight from all across Europe, from Germany, from Austria. I'm actually Austrian by birth. I've lived away from Austria for many, many years, but there's a few Austrians here, so welcome to you. South Africa, America, Canada, my goodness, Belgium, the Netherlands, all the countries are there, Romania, Czech Republic, Croatia, Finland. I tried to keep notes and track. But beautiful, and thank you. Sweden, Denmark too. So a really heartfelt welcome to you for today's discovery session, where Brandon speaks about anxiety, stress, worry, and the true cause of it, the overwhelm, the burnout, all of that. Now, actually, tonight is a little bit different from how we usually do this, because Brandon is actually currently in Australia, and so for us to have a midweek event in the evening is impossible for her to do live. So she actually recorded a special session for us here today, so something that we can play just for this group. And many of the challenges and letters that were written in already and prior to the event, she already saw that, and she's also referring to that. On that note, if your letters or challenges were mentioned more recently in the last 2 or 3 days, then I will come back to that at the end of the session and will mention a little bit more if needed. I know that Brandon's sessions are always very, very comprehensive, and that all of the issues, I was looking before we started at all the challenges, and everything, really everything is related to emotional issues, even our physical illnesses. It is actually known that 85% of all physical ailments and illnesses are stemming from emotional issues. So there is an opportunity to clear these issues, and they come from years ago. They sometimes come from childhood. They sometimes come from familial issues. And so I have been seeing and witnessing so much over these last 27 years. I know it's all possible. And I really want to give you that before we welcome Brandon into the room. I also want to say that we are doing a draw for one free place at the next upcoming Journey Intensive. So please, if you're here, stay in the room and we will choose it from the people who are here and from the people who are staying on. I think that's all. I think that's all. I just was checking my list to make sure I haven't forgotten anything. I sometimes do that. I get so excited with these events. But once again, just open your heart. We don't just listen with our ears. We listen with all of our being. Brandon will also take us through a guided exercise and meditation where we can uncover some of these things already. So please stay wide open, let it come in, let it come through, and we'll talk a little bit more at the end of it. So it's all about anxiety, stress, and I was overwhelmed. I was so amazed with all the letters and responses we had from you. So please know they've all been seen, they've all been read, and I really trust that Brandon will cover everyone's issues here in this session. So Chris, let's welcome Brandon. We're translating into German. I saw many people coming in from Germany, as I said, Austria. So we're translating into Germany, also into Hebrew. And you just need to find the globe at the bottom of your toolbar where you can choose the language to hear it in your language. So welcome, Brandon. Please give us a heartfelt welcome and a thank you for her to make sure that we can receive that session, that teaching in this way. So I'll see you after Brandon, and look forward to that then. Thank you.
Namaste and a heartfelt welcome to this month's Discovery Session. And thank you, Gabby, for welcoming us all. And I always look forward to these monthly sessions because every month they have a slightly different theme. And this one is how to get to the real cause of what's causing your worry, your stress, your anxiety. And I love hearing from you, because I hear about what's challenging you, what your real issues are. And so I try to sort of create this whole session to address the real problems that you are facing. And of course, during these crazy times that we've been living through with the pandemic, with Ukraine war and Israel-Gaza war, and then through all the madness that has happened in the last 4 or 5 years, of course, it would seem that the external is creating all this stress. I mean, none of us were given a manual. What do you do in the face of lockdown? And then suddenly you have to homeschool your children while working from home, and divorces, a deluge of divorces took place during that time. And people just didn't have the coping skills to cope with something that was completely outside of the norm. And so, of course, there was a lot of stress doing 2 jobs at once. Some people lost their jobs. Many businesses folded. And then all these world wars and divisiveness going on and polarization in government, and not to mention the climate change happening. And so earthquakes, floods, and fires, natural disasters happening all around the world at, it seems like, a greater, more accelerated rate. And so, of course, it's quick to say, well, it's all of that. And all of those things are genuinely stressful. And yet I'm going to suggest a radical thing here, that stress was already stored inside of you. And all that the external circumstances have done is trigger that stress. Now, all of us have experienced different kinds of stress. One woman wrote in and said that she's had OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, her whole life long. And that's a reaction to stress and anxiety, where we develop a behavior that habituates itself. And it gives us some sense of security, but it doesn't relieve us of the anxiety. And she was saying that she kept it under wraps. No one knew about it her whole life long, until recently she had a big, huge meltdown and finally had to start addressing it with a psychologist. There was another woman who wrote in about agoraphobia and how she developed agoraphobia as an adult and hasn't been able to enjoy going on vacations and couldn't see people, you know, even after the pandemic finished. And so like this, we have different reactions to life's stresses and circumstances. And yet what science will tell you is that when you feel any strong emotion and you repress it, it releases a quantifiable biochemistry into your bloodstream, which will go to certain cell receptors and block them, rendering those cells incapable of communicating with the rest of the cells in the body. And if over time illness happens, well, of course it happens, where the cells are blocked. And what happens is when those cells are blocked and they've absorbed whatever it was you buried inside those cells, when those cells start to die, which they naturally die off, the next cell generation gets that programming that was in the previous cell passed on to it. So this buried emotional stress, trauma programming gets passed on from one cell generation to the next. Now, interestingly enough, what science has also found is that when we feel our emotions very naturally, very, like a child does, they just come up and they go through, our cell receptors remain open. And so part of what will need to happen in order to get to the root cause of the stress inside is to go on a journey inside yourself, to get to certain cellular locations, to unearth what got stored there. It may have been something from a long time ago. I was just speaking to my husband when he was, 1.5, 2 years old. He woke up from a dream and he saw a face in the window. Now, of course, he was still dreaming, but he froze and literally stopped his breathing. Now, what happened is that biochemistry was released into his bloodstream and went to certain cellular locations. And it's only through the journey method, which helps you go on a journey to get access to these cell memories, that he uncovered that trauma, it had manifested as a trauma, was being passed on from one cell generation to the next, until he was an adult, and way beyond being an adult, until he was 40 years old. And so this is what happens with all of us. Now, the journey, for many of you who don't know what the journey is, it was originally born from my own direct experience of healing from what turned out to be a basketball-sized tumor in only 6.5 weeks' time. And having been in the alternative health field and complementary medicine, I'm certified in so many different areas of health and well-being in my life. At the age of 39 years old, and having been in this field my whole adult life and felt I was at the cutting edge of what was happening, getting diagnosed with this huge tumor, it really sent me reeling. And interestingly enough, when I went to the surgeon and had the whole thing investigated and diagnosed and a prognosis given, the doctor said to me, she said, you know, this probably started as one cell when you were around 8 years old, and it replicated and became 2. And then over time, and in the last several months right before I got to the doctor, the cells were replicating aggressively and exponentially. And I looked about 6 months pregnant by the time I got to her, though I knew I wasn't. And so, as you can imagine, this catapulted me on this huge soul-searching journey. And part of the gift of my own journey was I found a means for all of us to go on a journey inside your body, to get access to these buried emotional issues, to these old traumas, to these cell memories that you've been passing on from one cell generation to the next cell generation. And not only to get access to them, but to go through a deep process of releasing what you weren't able to face at that time, letting go, coming to a place of understanding of what happened to you at that time in your life, and ultimately forgiveness, so that you finally let go of the whole consciousness, the whole cell memory. And so when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old programming as new regenerative cells. And so what happens with all the stress happening in our environment is something stressful happens. Someone says something to you, you get fired from a job, your spouse of many years, suddenly you're not able to cope with lockdown together. And what happens is that external stress happened and it pushes your buttons, and up comes that old pattern, that old cell memory, that old way of reacting to stress. And so it's very essential that if we're wanting to cope with current stress, that we clear it out at its root, that we get to the emotional root cause of what has created this stress response over all these years. Because this isn't the first time you felt anxiety. This isn't the first time you felt worry in your life or had this pattern of stressing. What happens is, all that happens is these external stresses push those buttons, and the internally buried emotional programming rises up. I mean, it can be this simple thing like you are driving in a car and just going along the motorway or the highway, and suddenly a car cuts you off, and out of nowhere comes this rage. Now, that driver didn't come in the middle of the night and stick the rage inside of you. That rage was already buried there. And that all that happened is they pushed your buttons, and involuntarily and automatically, up comes the rage. And so in order to finally get to the bottom of what's co-creating the stress in our life, the agoraphobia, the OCD, the times that we feel painfully stressed, ideally we would undergo a journey process, which is an in-depth process where you roll up your sleeves and you dive in and you open into this infinite intelligence, into the part of you that makes your heart beat and your eyes shine and your hair grow. This that is your deepest essence. And there at the level of the soul, you'll be guided by this infinite intelligence to specific cellular locations inside your body, and you will go through a deep process of release, letting go, understanding, forgiveness, so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. And so if I had to say, what is the journey in a nutshell? The best way I could describe it to you is to give you a metaphor. That we, all of us, come into this world as this radiant, shining presence of peace, of love, feeling at one and connected to all of existence as a vast field of awareness. And we come in feeling that all of life is happening in us, is part of us. As a matter of fact, what science has said, when you are born as an infant, so newly born, and you are experiencing life as this field of love, when mother's hand comes before your eyes, the infant actually feels mother's hand to be part of itself. That's how vast this vast open field of enlightened awareness is. That is your essence. But unfortunately, through the course of life's pains and trials, this radiant field of feeling at one with everything, this peace, it gets covered over with a series of pain, trauma, shutdowns, lies, limitations. And it can be something simple, like you're 3 years old and you happen to be crying about something and your mother says, come on, got to dry the tears. We've got to get to nursery school. And the younger you get it, oh, I'm not allowed to have those feelings, at least not the ones with the tears. And the first involuntary automatic shutdown happens. Or it could be something simple, like I can remember I grew up in a very domestically challenged household. Part of the way I used to escape was I would hide myself in my children's books. And of course, if you loved reading as much as I loved reading, you would become good at it. And I became good at reading and spelling. And when I was 8 years old in the 3rd grade, our school decided to go into a competition with all the other schools in the area. So in the whole county, we were going to have a spelling bee. And I was chosen in our school to represent the 3rd graders. And all the other schools came together, all the teachers, the parents in the stadium, or this big, huge auditorium. And all the teachers were there. And I'll never forget this. I can remember so clearly standing on stage and having spelled 3 difficult words. And then they gave me one of the easiest words in the English language, the word fleet. Well, no one in any of the books that I had read had written the word fleet, but I had seen the word flea, a little insect. And I stood there and I said, F-L-E-A-T. And the whole audience was hushed. And all at once, it erupted into laughter. Now, no one had given me a manual. How do you deal with mass humiliation in front of your peers, your friends, the parents, the teachers, all the students? And I looked to my mom, who was sitting in the 3rd row where the parents of the contestants were sitting. And I looked to her for support. And she looked at me as if I was the greatest disappointment in her life. And she just shook her head and went. And internally, it was as if this wall just came slamming down inside of me. And I remember retreating to the back of the room to go sit with the other losers. And that day I decided, I'm just so stupid. I'm a laughingstock. Everyone my whole life long will only ever laugh at me. I'll never be good at anything I'll do. I'll never succeed. And it's like this, layer upon layer upon layer. Then when we get to be adults, we cover this whole mess over with this polished mask that we present to the world. That, you know, we say to everyone, no, I'm reliable, I'm dependable, you can count on me. And then we wonder why it is everyone thinks we're so full of you know what. And then if you get to be very lucky, life gives you a wake-up call. Now, these wake-up calls can come in so many forms. They can come in the form of a lockdown or a pandemic, a loss of a loved one, a war taking place. It can come in the form of not even having the skills of how to cope with what's going on in the world. And in my case, it came in the form of a serious illness, where for once you decide to get real and you crack through this mask that you've been presenting to the world, and spontaneously you end up opening down through the layers of the lies, the shutdowns, the pain, all the traumas, and spontaneously you eventually open into this vast field of love that you came in as, and you realize it's been there all along. Only like me, you bought into all the layers that covered it. And if you're very lucky, you fall so in love with your own essence, with your own soul, that like me, you will do anything to clear whatever blocks you, whatever shuts you down, whatever stresses you out, whatever holds you back. So this radiant love can live your life. This peace, this ease of being that is your essence, that has always been there. So if I had to say, what is the journey? It's about getting real. It's about cracking through this image that we present to the world and opening down through the layers of the pain, shutdown, traumas, lies, limitations that we bought into, and eventually opening into this that I call source, into this vast field of love that is your essence. And it's at that deepest level, at the level of the infinite intelligence, that you are guided by your soul to go to certain cellular locations in your body to uncover what's actually stored there, uncover these old traumas, uncover this old pain, uncover whatever cell memory you couldn't cope with at the time that got buried inside your body. And through this gentle but powerful clearing process, you not only release what's stored there, you understand it. And something radical happens when you forgive finally. When you forgive life for what took place, other people, yourself, somehow when full forgiveness happens, that's when you finally let go of this whole story, this whole consciousness, this programming, these whole cell memory, this whole pattern that you've been running. You finally let go of it. So that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old programming as new regenerative cells, free from the past. And so I would love with all my heart to take you into the depth of this work, but it's not something I can do over the course of an hour. It normally takes a 3-day, deeply immersive, journey intensive, where you really roll up your sleeves, and with my guidance and several processes, and then one-to-one processes with another student, you really immerse yourself in this work. And on the first day, you get the emotional journey. And on the second day, you go through physical journey to clear what's stored physically in your body and through the advanced skills. And so it's a deeply, profoundly liberating time where you have a set of tools that you can use with anyone in your life to take their lampshade off and for you to take your own lampshade off and to really live freely from the truth of who you are. I would love more than anything else to be able to do that, but it can't be done in just this short time. And yet it is work that is being used right now in hospitals, by medical doctors, in schools, by psychiatrists, psychologists, people from all walks of life. And it is work that you are capable of undergoing. Now, even though I can't give you the journey, full journey intensive tonight, what I can offer you is for you to begin establishing a relationship with your body, to begin really getting present to what your body's trying to tell you, to what's stored there inside. And so I'd love to take you into a little guided meditation, a little guided introspection right now that can really help you start this relationship of listening to your body, going to specific locations in the body where the body's been trying to communicate to you, where the body's been trying to reveal to you what's emotionally stored there. And so if you'd like to join me and just do this as a divine experiment, just check it out for yourself. I believe you came here because your soul said, it's time to come home. It's time to begin this process of listening to your soul, listening to your body, and clearing these emotional issues that have been with you your whole life long. And so you've got nothing to lose but some baggage and everything to gain by willing to try, just give it a shot. So if you'd like to join me, let's all take a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and closing the eyes. And a deep breath in of openness and breathing that into the room. And a breath in of willingness, just to give it a shot. The willingness to listen to yourself, to be present with yourself. So breathing this willingness into the room. And trust. Trust in yourself, trust in life, trust in grace. Trust that your own soul wants you to heal. It wants you to remember who you are. It wants you to clear out anything that might obscure this beautiful love, this peace, this joy that is your own essence. So trusting your soul, trusting life, trusting yourself, breathing that into the room. And letting your heart be as wide as the world. Wide enough to welcome whatever it is that lives here inside of you. All the emotions, thoughts, pains, all of it. Whatever lives here inside of you. That's how vast this vast open sky of all acceptance is. And it's vast and spacious and free in front of you. Endlessly open and spacious behind. Infinitely vast and spacious to all sides. is boundless below and sky-like above. And you're just resting in this vast, open sky of all love. And now turning our gaze inside our bodies. And you know, you already know this, that our bodies are full of all kinds of emotions. And our feelings, they're like little kids, you know? Some of our feelings are loud and attention-seeking, always trying to get our attention. Others of our feelings are shy and scared of us. And some of the emotions, you've shut them down and buried them so deeply that they don't even come up anymore. They're too afraid of the rejection. And so putting a heartfelt welcome out to all the feelings that live here inside of you, and just saying to them, you're sorry that you didn't have the coping skills, that you've pushed them away, and that for once you're willing to really listen, to really be present with whatever your body wants to reveal to you. So just letting your body know that you're going to be open and present right now and listen. Now, taking a moment to locate in your body some place where you're feeling a little stress or anxiety or pressure, or maybe you're feeling a little bit shut down in that area or tight. Maybe there's a glitch there. There's a feeling of contractedness. You know what I'm talking about. Find that area in your body where there's a little tension, stress, or holding going on, or contraction going on. Locate that area. And now taking a deep breath in of acceptance, flooding that area with acceptance, letting it soften it, marinating it, tenderizing it, opening it, and just asking if there were a feeling beginning to arise spontaneously out of that area of your body. I wonder what that feeling might be. It might be as quiet as a whisper. So just staying in this path of acceptance and welcoming whatever feeling might be here. And if this part of your body could speak and had words, what would it say right now? And just allow those words to arise in your awareness. And as you listen to those words, ask yourself, how does this make me feel emotionally as I listen to these words? How does it make you feel? Or perhaps a picture's showing up. If just out of nowhere a picture came up, step into it. How are you feeling in that picture? Or maybe it feels like there's a kind of lid over this area, covering whatever's there, like it's blocked in some way. If that's the case, take hold of it as if you're taking hold of the, you know, when you have a can of peanuts and you peel that lid back, take hold of that lid, metaphorically, take hold of it right now and lift it off. What's hiding here? As you open with what's hiding, how does it make you feel emotionally? just welcoming whatever's here, whatever's not here. Taking a nice deep breath in and letting it out. Now locating a second area where there may be a little tension or stress or holding or hiding or contraction going on. Locate that area. And taking in a deep breath in of acceptance and flooding that area with acceptance. Letting it be softened and marinated and tenderized and open to. And if there were a feeling just beginning to rise out of that area, I wonder what that feeling might be. Might be as quiet as a whisper. Just welcoming whatever's here, also whatever's not here. And if this area could speak and had words, what would it say to you right now? Give it a voice. What's it saying right now? And as you listen, how does it make you feel emotionally? Just allowing that feeling. Or perhaps a picture's showing up. That may or may not be true. But if there is a picture, step into it now. How are you feeling in the picture? Or if there's a lid over it, take hold of this lid right now and lift it off, exposing what's hiding here. What is hiding here? How does it make you feel emotionally? Or maybe there's a door. If there is a door, take hold of the handle, turn the key, open the door. What's hiding behind that door? Just welcoming whatever's here and whatever's not here. Taking a nice deep breath in, letting it out, and coming to neutral. And just saying to your body that for today, you're going to begin this process of listening to yourself, being open to what the body wants to share, that you're going to start taking baby steps towards this listening and opening process of opening with your body and being present to it. And so if it feels appropriate, you might like to make a commitment that you are going to begin this process of listening to your body and being present to what you're feeling and opening with that, if that feels appropriate. Take a nice deep breath in, letting it out. And once again, just becoming aware of your own awareness, that it's vast and spacious, open and free in front of you. That is boundlessly spacious and free. Hi. infinitely vast and spacious to all sides, boundless below, sky-like. You're just resting here as this vast open sky, acceptance. Taking a nice deep breath in and letting it out. Another nice deep breath in and sighing it out. And one more nice deep breath in and sighing it out. And you can open your eyes now into this presence, into this awareness. So taking another nice deep breath in, sighing it out. And if the eyes have not yet opened, this is your invitation to open your eyes now. Now I pray that this little introspection just gave you a little taste, like a toe dip, into how it is your body's been trying to communicate to you. And with the current stress going on in all our lives, I believe it's the body's prayer that you finally heed the call home and that you go on a journey inside your body and you uncovered in actuality the actual cell memories, the buried pain, the buried trauma, that you go through this gentle but profoundly healing process of letting go and understanding and ultimately forgiveness, so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. You know, there are 3 hospitals in Israel who are using this work currently. And if you, let's say you're in the heart hospital and you're getting a heart operation or treatment, after you've undergone whatever treatment the medical doctors put you through, then there's a recovery center where they use the journey to get to the emotional root cause of whatever co-created the heart disease in the first place. So you don't have to manifest another heart attack later down the line. Or when you're in the oncology department in the second hospital and you've undergone whatever medical treatment you've undergone, then you have a week long in the oncology recovery center where you undergo the journey to really get to what co-created that cancer in the first place. And what they're finding is they're actually shooting a documentary, hopefully for Netflix, on the results that they're getting. Also with fibromyalgia, same thing. After you undergo treatment, then you go through the journey process. And the results that they're getting is that these illnesses are not returning, that the healing is happening very much faster than it normally does. And they've been having scientists review all the science behind it. And so what I feel is, why wait until this stress ends up manifesting as some serious illness down the line? My prayer is that people do this work before it manifests as illness, so you're not under the gun to have to suddenly do the work. And so my prayer is that all of us have these tools to clear whatever blocks you, obscures you, shuts you down, whatever lampshade has been put over your light, that you have the tools to clear that so that you can live your life from the peace, the freedom that is your own essence. And I'm so grateful that I'm calling in from Australia right now, but that in Europe, they're giving a journey intensive online from February 10th to February 12th, well, you'll have a chance finally to really roll up your sleeves and dive in. And on the first morning, I'll be taking you through all the teachings, through meditations, process work. And in the afternoons, you'll get to partner up with another student. And with the support of Journey practitioners who have gone through a year-long training and completed 45 case studies, you will have the chance, with their embrace, to undergo your first emotional journey process. And you'll have that depth of support there to support you through the process as you do your one-to-one. And if something comes up, you raise your hand and there they are. Or the same thing, the next day, you're going to undergo the physical journey process, which is actually where you go inside the body to specific cellular locations and you uncover what's stored there. And you really go through a radical life-transforming process of healing and freedom. And on the Advanced Skills Day, which is a bonus day, you'll be learning all these advanced skills that will make your processing when you finally get home so much deeper and more all-embracing, all-encompassing. As a matter of fact, it's not my prayer that you just go through this hugely deep immersion and feel washed clean and amazing afterwards. My prayer is that you take all these skills and you use them in your life with your parents and grandparents and children and friends, because everybody deserves to take the lampshade off their light. So I pray that you listen to your heart's call. And if you feel that you are ready for this work, that your heart is saying, it's time now to heal. It's time now to be free from stress. It's time now to come to a place of peace inside myself. Then I welcome you to come to the Journey Intensive. And Gabby is going to share with you what's happening around the world, where you can dial in from and what languages it'll be translated into. And it'll be the most magical and life-transforming weekend of your life. So I look forward to seeing you again and again along the way. And until then, a heartfelt namaste.
Oh, thank you so much, Brandon. It's so beautiful to see her coming in from Australia here. And to hear again, I've heard Brandon tell this summary of discovery so many times. And sometimes, you know, we can't hear these things often enough. And there is a way where, however, I was reading through all the challenges and through the emails that we've received before we started today. And, you know, sometimes it may feel that there is just too much. There is an overwhelm. There is something that has a label, like, you know, it can be as serious as cancer. It can be fibromyalgia. It can be a fatigue syndrome. It can be ADHD, and it's like we may kind of believe that it's not possible for me, that it's okay for that, but it may not be okay for me because it's too much. There may be lack of purpose. There may be grief. There may be all kinds of issues that have come up and overwhelm, where you simply can't get even through the day. And I know, I have seen it with my own eyes. I have seen people make a life transformation, a change in their life in even just that first weekend. It is so profoundly, deeply healing. So please, if you can make it, we have the next one on the European time zone from the 10th to the 12th of February. Please come and join it. We have a special gift for those of you who are ready to jump in. And if for anyone who signs up before Monday, the 5th of February, so within the next 7 days, we have a special gift for you where we send you the audio files from Brandon speaking the gentle welcome meditation and the whole emotional journey process, so you can practice, so you can familiarize yourself with the process before you even come to the Journey Intensive. So we're not asking you to do the work before you come, but just to become familiar with it. And you have Brandon speaking to you. So it's an audio file, and we give that away free of charge for anyone who commits to the February event or any event by Monday, the 5th of February. So you have the booking link here. You will also receive a follow-up letter from us following this webinar. And we do have events in South Africa too. So please go on thejourney.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, go on thejourney.com. All the events that are currently scheduled are on there, including South Africa. So Lena has already signed up for the February Journey Intensive. Can you do me a favor, Lena? Can you please send an email to support@thejourney.com, and we will make sure that you receive it too. And I have a free place to give away, and today's free place is going to Gundiga Pride. So Gundiga, if you can't do this one, you can save it to another one. If by any chance you've already done the Journey Intensive, then please give it to somebody else. And also, I have written your name down and you are on our database, but I'm asking you to, maybe you could just send a little email to support@thejourney.com, and then Sarah will get back to you and make sure that you get your confirmation letter that you have everything that you need. And so it is with great excitement that we're all looking forward to this first Journey Intensive of 2024. And it is, as Brandon said, you know, when she speaks about the layers that we are creating from childhood onwards, it didn't seem so much, because it was like being humiliated in front of other people by misspelling something, and, you know, being dumped by a boyfriend age 16. All of these things sound ludicrous today, but all of these things add up, and we create a veneer, we create this wall, and then something happens in life, you know, where we lose a loved one, where some major trauma happens in our life, and we can't cope with it because we actually don't have access. And this is what Brandon said today, if you remembered her speaking, is if we are lucky. Now, I've read all the horrendous stories that you've written in your challenges, and hear this again. If we are lucky, life gives us a wake-up call, and we crack through this veneer that has kept us separate from our true self, from love, from a presence of freedom, a presence of love that guides us home, that helps us clear these issues. And there were a couple of issues that were mentioned, and I personally wanted to say that I come from time to time on Facebook to our community page and do what we call a Facebook pop-up. And there is something that there were a couple of shares in our shares there that I would love to come and address. And they weren't the only ones, there were more. And so I would love to, on Friday actually, and we will mention that in our follow-up letter, I'll do a Facebook pop-up in the community site, and I will address grief and the lack of purpose. And then I'll do something else early the following week, probably on Wednesday, and that will be dealing with overwhelm, where we just can't see beyond here. And so I just spend like 10 minutes to share with what I have learned, with what I have seen, and that it's possible to come through that, and maybe start with some simple steps. And if you can, please trust the thousands of people who over the years have become free from so many issues. You heard the people start sharing at the beginning. We share a few more of them at the end of it. It is really that simple, and we can let go of the past pain, the hurts, the grief, the horrendous traumas that we've been through. It is possible. And so do we have access to the Facebook group? Yes, I will share the link. It's the official journey community hosted by Brandon Bays, and you just need to apply. And I think there's 2 or 3 questions to be answered, and then somebody will let you in. But it's a community that is of people who either have been already through the journey or, like you, are interested in the journey. And it's a community where we keep posting and showing up and sharing information with you. So I hope we'll see you. I hope we'll see you at one of the upcoming Journey Intensives. And I think Glenn has already posted. We had a lot of people here from Germany, some from Austria. There will be an event with Bettina, who hosts the German speaking event. So all of the hosting is done in German language, and Brandon's teaching some of the teaching sessions are simultaneously translated in German. So you can have a full-on German language experience doing it with Bettina on European time zone in your language. And there is some other languages coming up later in May. We have Czech language again, and we will post all of these information. Oh, and Israel, I'm not sure how Israel is actually hosting an event in April. I'm not sure if we have people here from Israel today, but we had Irit here to offer translation. So there will be an event in Israel also. All of this information you find very, very easily on thejourney.com. If you scroll down, you have all the events showing up. May in Czech, yes, and it's our team. It's a hybrid event. So you have a big screen with Brandon doing some of the teaching sessions, but you actually be in a group with our trainer team and Bodana Nadas, who is hosting the event. So we have so many events in all around the world in many languages. We've just finished one in Finnish language last weekend, and all of these events take place throughout the year. It's a lot of information, and thejourney.com is always your best place to go and find what's coming up, what's next, what's soon. So just jump in and have a little look. And for those of you who are ready to join, make sure you do it within the next 7 days, so you get your meditation spoken by Brandon and also the emotional journey process spoken by Brandon, so you can practice. And then when you come and do the weekend, it will be easy as a piece of cake. Lots of love to everyone, and I hope we see you soon. Many thanks and congratulations again, Gundega. And I hope you can make it to our next Journey Intensive. Thank you so much, with much love. Bye-bye. And this event is recorded. Yes, it's already on YouTube and it's already on Facebook, and we'll be sharing with you in a follow-up email the recording as well, and point you back to where you can find it. So yes, it is. Thank you. Bye-bye.
My biggest win with the journey was being able to access my deepest emotions and free myself from them. I feel more calm and serene.
I found my true calling, and now today I can help others. I love to make an impact. I love to see transformation in others' lives.
For years and years, I used to feel very lonely, and now I just feel a part of everything. I feel I'm alive.
My biggest win with joining the practitioner program is owning my own life back and stepping out of a severe PTSD.
the acceptance of myself and the self-love, so I don't need others to love me. That's perfectly okay.
Life is different now because of joining the journey, because I just live in so much abundance. You know, I get up every day with a joy for living. I want to go to work. I want to meet other people.
My biggest win was the really deep knowing I actually do have the answers. They are within me.
There is a lot more certainty and openness into where I'm heading and how I'm feeling about things.
I feel more connected to life. It's not an easy path for anyone to do healing work, but it's profound.
One, I'm more balanced. Two, I'm more grateful for those persons who helped me in this life. I enrich my life every day with this wisdom.
It's priceless. There's no better, bigger investment we can do in time, money, or energy.
I was a mess before I started with this work, and I healed from lots of different types of abuse, and that's a miracle.
My life now, because of the journey, is transformed. I have confidence. Even if I struggle, it's just I have to let go. It's step after step, and it's no danger at the end.
My biggest win is myself. It doesn't have to be anything else. You can be fulfilled even if you only have yourself.
It's more peaceful. I've learned to process emotions. I learned to be more self-aware, and I've learned when you need to ask for help.
I've been able to have a really deep, long, soulful look at myself, and I've been able to uncover, recover, and heal long-term wounds.
My biggest win being a journey practitioner has been becoming a therapist and a healer, because that's what I never imagined it to be.
I'm living from a place of freedom and choice. I'm really conscious in every moment. Any sentence I say, it's coming from just pure goodness.
I feel more authentic, wearing much less of a mask. It's about being you and feeling good about it.
I can embrace all that is. I'm here to share my life, my joy. Now I can just be me.
My own journey of healing from cancer is an inspiration for others. I get to work with amazing people, see amazing transformations in their life.
My biggest win is to be yourself. Just be there for other people, to help other people heal, and just to be there.
I know that no matter what comes, I have the right instrument to deal with whatever emotions every situation will bring to me.
It really has helped me come back to a place of wholeness. I feel like completely authentic. I feel genuine. I feel like I'm in my body.
My big win is my courage and my physical healing, my emotional healing. But in one word, I could say freedom.
The journey is all about releasing all of the emotions that create the illness. I was healed physically within 6 weeks, while I had been in pain over 3.5 years.